Hi, welcome to the Early Morning Ascension Show. My name is Joanna, and I've been an Ascension teacher, author. I've written a couple of books. They're on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Many of the Ascension experiences and the beautiful entanglement that I've had with Spirit for all my life, going in and out of these phases of my remembrance with Spirit, based on my own evolution of who I am and who I'm becoming. And I've been teaching and offering all of the experiences that I'm able to tap into and tune into as a crystal child, as a Christ conduit, and all the things that I'm able to bring forward through the many, many lifetimes that I've been here. And I'm really excited to be at a point where humanity now awakening, moving through their experiences, that I'm able to offer things in a multidimensional way that is visual, most because many of us that are crystals and many of the beautiful sacred children, the rainbow children, they're very adept to vibrational textures, meaning that they can sense and feel things in their reality in many different ways. And why many of them have problems with the institutions and the structures of tradition, because they're based on a tradition of linear mental thought as opposed to the multidimensional textures that we all can move into and explore and experience. And so much of our healing for anything that anyone is moving through, anything that we move through in any one moment, is becoming the evolution of you. And in that, understanding who we are as physical, mental, emotional beings and spiritual beings creating matter, and who we are in that. The stories that we come from, the now that we choose to be, and the experiences and the potentials that we choose to create, they're all from the vibrations of us. The vibrational realities are all the potentials that we choose to play with the vibrations of exploration and experience and expression of who we are as spirit. Because the spirit of who we are in flow and in allowance and in acceptance of ourselves as spirit, we then get the inspirational downloads, we begin to get the inspirational becomings of what we're truly able to co-create and truly able to manifest with one another, the collaborations we have with one another. Why oftentimes in all of our webinars and our classes, and you'll see our links below, we offer many different varied coaching sessions and healing sessions. We've had so many great healings lately. We've put those feedbacks in the comments on our Facebook page, Universal Love Light. And if you just search for my name, Joanna, and as well as our website link is below as well, for all those that so desire to tap into our offerings for personal coaching and healing. If you're looking to kind of navigate your personal gifts and your wisdoms to the Christed grid, tapping into your Kosh and many of the gifts that you've come with, then we open up into those based on what your teams are, allowing you to be ready for. Because everybody is at a unique pacing, they're at a unique stage of their ascension. And this is how we allow ourselves to open up and be really intimate with who we are as spirit, who we are as the soul. We're now living as the soul. The soul is all of those bodies and incorporations that you've had on all timelines between 3 and 5D. And each and every person has agreed, those that choose to awaken, to move about in the highest and best way as possible to clear 51% of their karma so that they can move into a 5D experience. That 5D experience understands that once you're clearing those karma energies and you're understanding yourself as one with the whole collective, that you understand that you're creating in the greater good of the collective, so that we're releasing all of those ego creations, because the ego creations is usually based on eons of egocentric experiences where it's win or lose, winner takes all, greed, control, all based on those fear programs and separation programs. So in our evolution, we're now understanding that we are the evolution of oneness. Everything our soul has experienced was from 51% has been those separative experiences, and many of them very dark, many of them very challenging. We've all played various roles and bodies. We've all played various characters within creation. Creation is the infinite experience of life itself. Life in various bodies and forms and dimensional realms of reality. And in those expressions and experiences, we then choose a soul contract at the highest level of creatorhood with spirit, and spirit calling us in from many different universes. I know that I got called in for this particular lifetime from another universe, and I'm so grateful. Thank you to bring many of my lifetimes from Earth and many of the other planets I belong to and the universes to bring forward the highest evolutionary experience so I can thread what's coming in from the universe, because I can feel it and sense it and honor it. I sense the groups and the collectives, thank you, and the oversoul that I work with, and they're sending me those threads to open up these gateway potentials. I can feel that and I can know that, and that's why I offer what I do, so that we can see beyond what is really in our physical reality. And it's really important that we honor those imaginative and creative experiences of the spirit flowing and expressing itself as the highest expansiveness of creativity, because that allows us to create what was not now. To create heaven upon earth, to create as the spirit, we must go through this evolutionary experience of releasing all of these limitations to know that you are truly divine. You are truly a creator of many dimensions and many realms, and you have those opportunities to open the pillar of light of who you are through the pineal and all of your chakras flowing in unison as God. Everything is God. All aspects of you are God, and you're the one with the God, all levels of life, all dimensions, and you're now allowing yourself to flow and create a spirit. That's why you're able to create something from nothing, because you've done it many, many times before, and you're absolutely, thank you, Spirit, all of the energies coming up through the planet, all the energies coming up through Gaia that are showing me of all the different timelines that I'm connected with. And now I can feel the threads and the sources and the energy from above and below. And those are the timeline weavers. We get to weave new potentialities into this new now. But to do that, we need to release all of the separative experiences that we held ourselves in such smallness. And why many of us that have come as empaths and crystals, we've gone through those experiences of, feeling those throat chakra clearing, going through those experiences where we weren't feeling like we belonged, because we understood who we were at a very subconscious level, coming from the divine, from other experiences. And there's that subtle knowing that everything that we are as a being is absolute love. And it was really challenging to see, in my own personal experiences, to see people act so unkind and mean to one another, and to treat animals with such unkindness, and to treat our planet with such disregard, without even any conscious care. And that was one of my biggest wounds. And so we wanted to talk about today, now that we've given you all the links and we've given you kind of what ascension is really about. How do you evolve as a human? Why do you evolve, and why you've chosen to be here? You've explored this video for a reason, because your teams are allowing you to tune in and join with us for our offering of what really occurs at the grander scale, so that you can start incorporating, wow, I'm really profound. I know I had that inspiration. I know why this is coming to me. I know why I'm feeling so intense, because I need to release this. We are multidimensional beings, and we hold much information and wisdom within us. We hold the energies of our experiences, and I've called them the psyche wounds, through which they are packets of density held within the multidimensional bodies for us to release and acknowledge and explore, so that we're honoring who we are in this now expansiveness. So then we can continue directing and intending these new experiences for heaven to live through us. That is the connection of within, to create anew. Not to create what has been done, but to create anew. And that's why this timeline is so exciting, because we're moving from 3 to 5D, and what 5D will look like is not what 3 to 5D is. And it's really hard not to get stuck on the cycles of what keeps bathing you in the same cycles of energy and behaviors and same news stories. And that's why this is such a profound experience. And when you actually sit back and think about, wow, I'm actually creating something that has not yet begun yet, has not been seen yet, has not even been invented yet. We don't even have words for it. And we've done so for thousands of years. So to take thousands of years of steeped belief systems, of limitation, separation, and fear, to transcend it and then create something entirely new, even when you have much of the collective that says, no, that's not true, that's not real, that's crazy, that's a really profound experience. And when you know within yourself, and those of you that are awakened, you understand the essence of God and what's really going on within you, and why you have those profound synchronicities, because you see life creating itself with you as spirit. And that's when you know you're aligned. When you're aligned and you see all of those synchronicities coming to you and showing you, and you get to sort out those belief systems within yourself because of what is being shown to you, then you absolutely know that you are the creator of your reality. And of course, the multi-million-dollar business, actually, I think it's probably billion-dollar business that's been, built around manifestation, understanding that you are a creator. But we're taking it to the spiritual level, because, as the creators told me in the story of God through the masters, was that it's our ability just to be joyful as spirit, which will manifest all we ever need. And to understand that we're full spirit. Our bodies would not be able to exist without our spirit being entangled and threaded with everything that we are as cells and organs and bones and matter. So our spirit is absolutely involved. And that's how you understand the truth of who you are, the mastery of who you are, the self-leadership and guidance of who you are, your choices every moment to guide yourself as a sovereign being, calling in and working with the mother and father energies in the essence of your omnipresence. All of those energies and all of those incorporations is the breath of your healing of thyself, because you understand that all is God. And you're repairing all that you are as the higher vibrational energy of who you are. And so we wanted to talk today about those of you that have gone through or will be going through. I don't know if this is going to show because of the glare. Understanding traumas and understanding what it feels like in going through a trauma and going through those, knowing your energy ascension cycle. Your energy ascension cycle is key for you to know, and we're at a new moon energy right now, so we're absolutely intending these beautiful energies to transcend those traumas. And we're going to give you an example of what I've been working through, and that is the energy of the intention to see our human reality in the highest and in the best. Because many of my earthly experiences here have been is feeling and creating the kindness and the gentleness from the Divine Mother experience, because all of my experiences and many of the crystalline children experiences is a lot of aggression and violence, and why people are so mean and detached from their hearts, and why they've had so many trauma experiences on this earth that have shut down their heart chakra. When these chakras in a heart chakra are shut down, they are disconnected from their importance and value with the earth. They're not receiving the full light experience, the full infinite experience that is the expression of who we are as spirit from above and below. And they're not clearing and cleansing the chakra systems and ensuring that those energies and those wounds or any packets of density can be cleared by the constant renewal of light that we are. And so because many children are never ever taught these things, they carry those traumas and those wounds within them. We've never been taught the importance of our multidimensional bodies. The multidimensional bodies, if there is a wound in the physical body, if we're taking a trauma, for instance, molestation, we'll take that one experience, or even if it's being ostracized for your uniqueness, for your creative gifts, for your being, if you say you have a very divine feminine energy about you, and that's your gift that you've brought forward, and you're learning to balance those experiences and express it and be okay with it and honor who you are as spirit, but you come in a very masculine experience, so vibrational family or lineage or outdated dogma rules and social rules, those will be your wounds to heal and transcend. Not to change who you are to fit into a culture that is limited. These are the vibrational stories that we're coming from. That's the 3D experience. And all of these wounds affect us in a multidimensional way. If you were, say, molested or you were ostracized, it makes us feel unsafe. It makes us feel as if we don't belong. Makes us feel as if we're not valued. Because if I was really valued and I was cared for by the nurturers of the mother and the father or the collective, if my family really truly nurtured me and valued me in my school and my community, then I would feel important. My voice would be asked for, and I would be asked to come and participate. I would be asked to speak up and be a part of the collective growing and evolving. And the children are simply not. And their worthiness is based on how they're honored as the beautiful divine sacredness of who they are, returning all of their energy and worthiness from within. But they're now taught and told from eons of experience that their value of who they are within their center of who they are is actually sent outside of them. That they must feel like they belong by acting a certain way, by transforming who they are to fit in, conformity, certain rules that don't match who they are as a divine experience of creation. That's what I felt. I was so divinely talented, and things that just did not make sense to most. And that was hard for anyone to fit in, especially with the gifts that had not been experienced on this planet before, even now. I can talk with many variations. I'm so great. Thank you, Spirit. I'm grateful. Thank you, Spirit. I can create the beautiful experiences. I'm so grateful for the many different threads that are constantly surrounding me in this beautiful web of who we are as light and energy. And in that, it's allowing us to tap into the fullness of who we are and how much we have spirit to entangle with and create these new experiences. So any one of these, this one trauma, it's one trauma, if you will. We'll just say being molested or being having your body, the free will of your body. Everyone has free will, and the free will of their body is to be treated and honored as the divine human right, the birthright of who we are as a human and as divine angelic beings from all star systems, is to have our bodies cared for and have our bodies in holding of our own choice. We choose how our bodies are interacted with. Those are our gifts of birthright, to be loved and to be held safe and to be cared for and to be nurtured and to be belonging in all of our experiences. However, in separation, that's what we're here to heal. So in those experiences of ostracization or molestation, the bodies have that free will of the safety of the body and the care of the body have been have been damaged. They've been taken advantage of. And so they have the wounds of safety that are held within the multidimensional body system, held within the emotional body, because that wound stays there until it's healed. And of course, we're never taught these things when we're younger, how to heal those traumas of someone being taken advantage of or somebody being bullied. And we're not told how to heal those at a multidimensional level, especially the children that are psychic and the children that are empathic and crystal. It goes far beyond our traditional experiences of healing right now. And this is where my work is so important. And I'm placing it out there because absolutely understanding that in our traditional setting right now, there is nothing that taps into the multidimensional bodies and the healing systems of what truly goes on in any one wound. And we come with these wounds. We come with all of these wounds that are linked to this day and age, the family you choose, the lineage that you come with, all of your bodies and forms that you've come with, 3 to 5D, standing up for yourself and choosing that safety of your body, whatever those transcension desires are, what you wanted to create for a soul. When you came here, you said, I want to transcend this, this, and this. I'm going to take this from my lineage. I'm going to take this from my family, and I'm going to help heal these wounds of control, wounds of fear, because all of these experiences are all of our lifetimes, 3 to 5D, and it's all based on fear. And that is the infinity. It always allows us to take what was, choose now, and create something new. It's a constant evolution of who you are. You're evolving all moments. So when you're going through your ascension cycle, you will find these little triggers because the wounding is still held within the multidimensional bodies, held within the chakras, held within the fields, held within the body itself. And those wounds must be brought forward to allow that light to come in, because the body cannot get to the 5D experience if there is still a lot of density and fears and beliefs saying that I don't belong. When you're moving to 5D, you will belong, because you understand that what has happened to you has been for the reason to heal those deeper wounds that come from other timelines that you might not even remember. But when you go through your ascension cycle, you'll want that self-care time. So you say, why did I feel this intensity that I didn't experience in this lifetime, but there was probably a more minor experience. We say minor not in how disruptive these experiences are, because they're very traumatic, but we say that perhaps they were showing me a timeline that I had where I was held captive, by a king, and this king had, locked me, in a room, and I was only pulled out for whatever the king wanted of me. And it was such a traumatic lifetime, and all of the wounding that had occurred to me, there were held deep wounds within the heart chakra. And many of the experiences on this lifetime that I've come to experience, part of my soul's theme was to heal those wounds that were also linked from many of the Gaia timelines, collective timelines, and divine feminine timelines where subjugation was so steeped, and bringing the divine feminine back into rebalance. So that means that each person that experienced those experiences of ostracization, denial of our intelligence, denial of our leadership, denial of our voice, denial, all of those things that create imbalance, that's what we're here to each transcend. And they each come in different ways through which the stories that we belong to, social, familial, lineage, Akashic, universal, they're all in this now moment for us to heal. And they go steeped and wide. When you're healing something right now, we say that ostracization, and you're choosing to heal it now, you're going to feel, we'll just say that ostracization. There was many different wounds that you experienced from being ostracized, where you didn't feel like you belonged with your family, like you didn't fit because of your gifts or your skills, and you weren't understood. That makes you go in and judge who you are as a being. Because when you're not accepted by the outer community as the humans that we are, that's how we're trained and entrained, is the belonging of who we are. We, we compare and we modify who we are based on the outer experience, and then we try and process who we are, and we understand who we are, and then we alter our behavior to see, and what we're told and the stories we fit within, where do we fit within our belonging of this community? And every household, every family, and every experience is different. That's how we heal these global subjugations and limitations and separations, because we're absolutely not. But from birth, we're told to see the world outside of us as who we are, as opposed to building the divine of who we are from within and out. That's how we create new realities, not bearing any importance to anything outside of us, only as a reflection of what the world is moving through in any one moment, but to change and alter it from within first. But we're never taught these things. It's completely backwards. So then the wounds are there, and the wounds must be brought forward to heal. And why every month, without fail, every person will move through an experience where they're calling forth these vibrational stories held within the multidimensional experience of all that we are, Akashic, lineage, timelines, and everything, doesn't matter what you call it. They're within the multidimensional experience of you. And any reality of this timeline, if you wish, you're creating the healing of all timelines through this now moment of accepting and acknowledging who you are, acknowledging that, yes, the wound did occur, call it what it is, whether it's abuse or neglect, call it what it is, because your feelings matter. The acknowledgement of that experience matters. Yes, I was neglected. That didn't feel right, and my body got hurt. You're acknowledging the physical part of it. You're acknowledging the mental part of it, the multidimensional chakra part of it. And you're acknowledging it. And then you're resolving those energies. You're transmuting those energies. You're not allowing it to stay stuck in your body or your fields, because that depresses who you are, and it's not allowing the full light and the source of joy to flow through you. Are you the joy of spirit? You can't be in the joy of spirit if you've been suppressed by all of these wounds, and barely any light can get in because there's so much density that wears on your self-worth and your self-value, because nobody's taught you how to go within for your self-value. Your self-value has nothing to do with the outside world. Your value is completely, how do you hold yourself? Who are you? What is your highest exploration? What is your highest experience of you? And then keep exploring it, keep empowering yourself, keep encouraging you, keep inspiring you. And this has been, if we all went from within, right from scratch every day, and keep on training yourself to go within for your self-worth and your value and your self-love, your own self-guidance, your own self-direction, your own self-choosing, your own highest guidance, your own highest counsel, then if our collective did that even at a 25% level, the world would not see what the world sees. We would not experience the density of the separation. Because you understand that when you love yourself and you honor yourself, you don't need outside validation. You don't need to give your power away to anybody. You don't need to give your energy or your time or your efforts to things that do not nourish you or invest in you. Then you absolutely know that all of your investment comes from within, and you're making wiser choices. You're honoring yourself. You're honoring all others. You're honoring the land. You're honoring all life. Because you don't need anything outside of you to dictate your belonging or your safety. You understand that your safety is within. All energies, they were showing me that, when I was going through my experience, and I was asking them, well, what's the common theme of all of the experiences that I've manifested and attracted? And they were saying, because it's the perspective that you brought as the vibrational being that you were, to perceive your reality and really transcend your perspective of how all people treat people, and take it outside of that, because how we treat each other from birth is based on the experiences from what was. And to treat every moment and every child is valued, every child is a magician, every child is beautiful, every child is sacred. And really release everything that we've ever known about who we think we belong to, of what controlling programs and patterns are about our health and our wellness, and start reclaiming our power and reclaiming our light, and start rebuilding ourselves from within. Because all that matters is the ability that we have to heal ourselves. And so in those experiences, we have as we're releasing those stories and you're facing it, well, I didn't feel like I belonged, and you're dealing with it from emotional dimensional level, and journal it out, draw it out, get yourself a whiteboard. How did I feel? Where did I feel this pain in my chakra? And really start working with yourself. And this is what we teach in all of our coaching sessions and our healing sessions. And these are, directly the channeled material from us, and all of our illustrations are. And we'd like that work to stay within the name and the energy that it was created. So anybody that wants to use our work and work with us, then please just ask for permissions, and we can work out, a fair exchange, because it's a part of the integrity of 5D. It's not taking anyone else's work, but understanding that you have your own benevolence and your own gifts and skills. And so these were created by me through my channelings and through my many, many years and eons, and of course all the other roles. Thank you, Spirit. They're showing me the many roles that I've had to assist and come forward for humanity in new ways and different ways to heal the bodies. And so we appreciate that. And so our contact information is below for our healing programs and our coaching sessions. And so when you're going through these, monthly and daily self-care experiences, and you're doing your new summation about all the things you've learned about your wounding and where it affected you, and what are you doing to take honor right now to resurrect yourself anew? I'm resurrecting myself anew because I want to be present with my allness. I want to be present in the breath so that I can choose something really nice and new now. And I want to work from the idea of oneness, because I know that anything that I'm seeing in my reality is a part for me to integrate. Integrate someone that's acting really strong and beautiful. Integrate somebody that's acting from their heart and they're speaking from their heart. I want to integrate that because I know it's a reflection of me. I'm seeking it. I'm seeking the light. I'm seeking the goodness in humanity. I'm seeking the goodness that humanity supports one another. And that was one of my soul themes. Yes, it was to also heal those timelines where there were great abuse, where there was great persecution. And those were the other vibrational levels and layers too. And this is where those of us that are crystalline and Akashic healers and intuitive healers, intuitive medicals, we can see the various threads through which those wounds are being held. And that's why we can call them up and help the person clear those traumas, because it's not just one wound that's sitting in the body. If you have an accident, we all know that. If you have an accident in a car, you understand that it affects your multidimensional experience, because now you don't feel safe. You're wondering about the fear and the anxiety about what's out there when you get into a vehicle. So all of those things are the traumas that we experience as being spirit. Because you're spirit, you're more than what you thought. And this is why it's a multidimensional, full inclusive experience. And it absolutely incorporates your allness. It can't not be. Your healing is the all. You're healing the entire experience on planet Earth when you choose to take owner and ownership of who you are, honoring who you are, valuing who you are, accepting all of your stories, page by page by page. Honor it. Pull it out and dissect it. Where was I hurt? Deal with the wounds. Face them. And some of them will take years and years. I've been doing this for 15 years. And these wounds have been taking years and years and years to heal, because there's various levels and layers. Like they were showing me this morning, this wound that I had experienced about my body being taken advantage of, whether it be through spell work, whether it be through others manipulating environments and controlling outcomes, those are the manipulations of your energies as well, because they're taking advantage of your kindness, they're taking advantage of your energy, they're taking advantage of who you are. And that's what most people don't understand when they're doing things that affect the free will and the outcome of another, how damaging it is. And this is why the right use of free will is so important. That to do spells just to offer love and light and to work on it with your own body, and not to do it towards any other unless you have permission from them. And they want to work in that experience with you. But just to randomly choose because you want a private outcome or you want a private controlling situation, you want something to be controlled to work with your agenda, it's absolutely working against the right use of will and our law of one. And so that will, again, create these stories. And you'll continue to create cycles of karma in those stories if you so choose. But it's all learning. You'll all be a part of that learning process. At some point, your soul is going to want to wake up and say, wow, I keep facing these experiences. What's in front of me? So I can start dissecting it and I can start pulling out these experiences so I can start healing them. Because they are just your wounds with safety. The reason why anyone feels they want to control an outcome is because they feel they want safety. They feel like they're not in their fullest abundance. Somebody else gets something and somebody else doesn't. That's safety. That's abundance. That's lack. So again, going within and feeling and filling yourself with your own vibrational essence that is source and calling it what it is. Those are the shadow energies. That's working with the shadow. Working with the shadow where I didn't feel safe, I wanted to control those energies. That's working with the shadow, or jealousy, or belonging. Any of those experiences, those are all working with the shadow. Why does the shadow feel this way? And it's usually to do with an inner child psyche wound or a timeline wound, and why some of those wounds are really, really intense, and why they don't just take once or twice to heal it. It's years. There's no fast lane. You've got to pull it up layer by layer by layer by layer, because again, you're healing for the collective. You're healing for your lineage. And if your lineage was steeped in control, like many of the Orion, many of the reptilian, and we all have certain degrees of that in our DNA, everybody, why release all judgment? Because we all have it. Each of us comes with a soul record and a soul plan on what we're going to clear in this timeline and how we can help our collective with our gifts, our talents, and our skills. That's why when you do have those great openings and you are working with your releasing of all of those shadow experiences that help us become the highest light, the shadow will always help you catalyze something greater and new. So it's always required that we have that energy within us, and to understand how we honor and we temper those experiences so that we're not reacting from ego and we're reacting from the centering of spirit. So then all of these lack statements turn into I am. I do belong. I am safe. I am valued. I'm really worthy and honored. My skills are really, really blessed. Then as you're working through this infinity, you're then starting to direct your energy into new timeline creation. So you're coming around and you're healing of it, and then you're going to direct it into something new. And that's where you're placing those particles of spirit into the potentiation. That then becomes from your choice of resurrection to new. You're changing what was, you're resurrecting it in that energy that you choose, not anyone outside of you, You choose, because it's your soul's design, what God has for you, what your higher self and your teams have for you, because your soul plan is different than all others. Your pacing is different than all others. Your desires are different than all others. Your soul's healing is different than all others. You then get to choose to resurrect from your new intentions of who you choose to be. And all of you allow yourself, you then get to be the greatest version of you. Because you get to say, no, I'm going to resurrect this. I understood that story of ostracization and how I was carried that wound around. I didn't want to express myself and I felt small and invaluable, but no, I am really valuable. I'm going to start loving myself. And the mother's been working with me, you know, she's so beautiful and grand, and part of my expression is now to emulate the mother experience and really just really empower all of you that all of these are just beautiful expressions of playing in a playground upon earth, where we're transforming and transmuting eons of density and separation. All is worthy. And God was showing me this morning that, you know, never underestimate the experiences of threads for God's plan. And some of those threads and experiences are not comfortable, and why they've increased the intensity of control on our planet over the next 3 to 6 months. Because God and the heavens and all of creation are showing us that through the intensification of control energies, the control and subjugation orders and rules that our planet is going through, regardless of whether it's in health and wellness or whether it's in financial, any of the intensifications on wanting to suppress and keep oppression in the collective energy allows humanity that catalyst. Remember, the evolution of the infinity, where it allows humanity the compassion to say, you know, who really am I? Whose rules am I following and why? So it's all valid. It's all the elegance of God's plan for us to awaken. And those that choose not to awaken and continue to play those experiences of control, they will be gathered in an experience where all of those controlling energies just want to play with control. And it's all valued because their souls are not yet developed enough to create the oneness. And that's okay. Every soul has its own development and its own pacing. There's no judgment on any of it. But there are those of us that have come forward to be in oneness and strength with our now gifts and our skills, and wonder why we were so unique in the way that we were, and why we had the traumas and the experiences that we did, so that we can experience the really profound the strength of who we are as spirit, and how stretched we can become to really thread ourselves within all levels and layers of humanity. Because that's what is called the quantum entanglement. And the quantum entanglement is how you vibrate within all aspects and all levels and layers of life, because there's infinite structures and levels and layers of life that we don't have words for. It's an infinite entanglement of who we are as spirit, an infinite entanglement of levels and layers of life within life and light within light. And they are directly related to all of the timelines that we've come within. All timelines, all bodies, all forms, all experiences that we now get to open up in this now moment to know that we are a part of the all. And I want to choose my story so that my story of uniqueness, my story of self-guidance, my story of sovereignty can therefore radiate through all others. And they can be asking themselves in their own unique time and awakening, what is my story? Am I going along with the collective social conformity? Or do I choose to create something new because I see somebody vibrating in an experience that is absolutely unique and profound? They're going within for their guidance. What does that mean? Who am I? What is my guidance? Where is my guidance? Do I have teams? Do I have guides? So that is the idea, and why we have created since 1987 was the real initiation of humanity's ascension over the sacred convergence, because we were heading into a really steeped energy of de-evolution, because the light wasn't able to get within the cells because of such steeped programs of control. Our separation from who we are as perfect beings of light, that we are spirit. Our bodies wouldn't be able to exist without spirit. Our bodies wouldn't be able to heal ourselves without spirit. Our bodies wouldn't be able to renew and regenerate as spirit. So we're understanding that the spiritual consciousness of who we are has nothing to do with religion. Our spiritual consciousness of who we are is absolutely how we regenerate every day, and how we can absolutely transcend and evolve and enhance these experiences of new healing modalities, new healing experiences. For instance, everybody knows there's been so many studies on instantaneous remission, instantaneous healing, where, you know, delivered with news of a debilitating disease, I mean deathly disease, and all of a sudden turning it around through your entanglement, your oneness with who you are, spirit, the spirit energy in you changing the matter in you. So it's very profound. It's not small, it's a huge thing. And anytime that you sort out, thank you, spirit. I'm so grateful, spirit. Anytime you sort out those experiences of who you are with spirit, the joy that spirit has for you to be spirit, the joy for spirit that has for you to be, vibracious with who you are, has the experience to be entangled in your own excitement of who you are, the joy of spirit of who you are. That's how you entangle those new directions and intentions out to those new realities, because you get the process. Those little wounds that we have that are not little, they absolutely are entangled with all aspects of any type of subjugation on any timeline, on any earth reality. And with some of us, when we have those really intense, and I've written about them in my books, I talked about them on my radio show, when we have those really intense experiences where we're releasing those really traumatic experiences that we've had on other planets, where great devastation occurred because of control, or because of fear, because of mind control, and all of the experiences that we've had that are mirrored on this planet. Because this planet is the planet where, as steep and as far out as we can get from spirit, we're now remembering who we are and coming back to our oneness. And that is the remembrance, that is the awakening, that is our ascension. To remember that we are one with spirit, we are one with God, we were never separate. And the infinite now moment allows us to heal all experiences where separation and segregation and fear and greed and control and all of those stories that kept us separate from spirit are now coming back into harmonization. We've got to constantly culminate what's going on, culminate these stories. How am I feeling? Okay, well, that's a shadow energy. Let's bring it forward. Where is this rooted? And go back to the root of it. The root began at this experience. And your teams will show you, you'll have a memory, you'll have a dream, you'll have all of these experiences that spirit is showing you. These energies need to be brought back up because we want to take you to higher light. So to go to higher light, we've got to clear these densities because they're affecting your thought patterns, they're affecting your choices, right? So who you think you are, what you exist within, and what exists within you is being affected by the traumas, by the psyche wounds. And so that's why the daily self-care is so important. Caring for your body, caring for your emotions and your feelings. What are you feeling? What are you manifesting? And sort it out. Be one with it. Be intimate with it. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling lack? And then go to the truth. I am an infinite being. And keep reaffirming, I am an infinite being. I'm returning to spirit. Okay, spirit, work with me. I'm calling in my Christhood. I'm calling in my magnetism on how full I am and how real I am and how one I am with everybody. You start feeling your engagement of oneness with others because there is no separation. They're there to show you the reflections of how profound you are in all densities, in all forms, in all realities, in all realms. It's you. And we want this because there will be a day very soon, by 2035, where we will be having that first contact with our celestial families, that we're all in our vibrational experiences in the higher realms of who we are with our celestial families, our Pleiadian families, and working out what is first protocol. First protocol is, wow, how do I become full and one with me? How do I become more respectful and honoring with me? How do I love myself and value myself so that when I do meet all of these beings and I've opened up my fields, I open up my intentions to sense and feel and wonder, I'm one with God on every level, I can feel it, am I honoring their respectfulness of it? And sometimes with those of us that come with certain collectives like Gaia and the nature and the animals, and why we feel so compassionate when there is a collective that is being mistreated and being devalued and dishonored. And then we have those voices to speak up through our own personal experiences, so that the children are very valued, the children are very valuable, the children are very beautiful and pure and sacred. And it's not for anybody to disregard their body and their free will. And that's going again against the laws of our universe, and absolutely will again create those karmic cycles. But it's up to us then, when we've come with those collectives, to start bringing forward the voice of the oneness, the voice of our liberation, the voice of sovereignty and freedom, returning within, creating different systems so that we absolutely from day one, how valued are you? And it comes from you and spirit. Spirit has a plan for you, but we've been directing ourselves outside of us for thousands of years, because those are the governances that we came with and that we drew up prior to when Jesus came. Jesus came to show us the very benevolence and the acceptance of God in all things. The essence of God. Jesus spoke why he did the miracles that he did, but it was not understood at that time about the essence and the omnipresence. And it was just considered that he had the mysteries of the heavens. Yes, he explained the essence that is God, how things can be healed and transformed and transmuted and absolutely create miracles. And that's science, the spirit of science, and the science of spirit and the spirit of science, because we are spirit in matter. It can't help not be spirit in science. And that's transforming all of our traditions. All of our history is being rewritten. Divine feminine are not ghosts of the human collective story. Where are the divine feminine archetypes? You know, anything that you study in psychology and sociology, Why are the divine feminine archetypes so small in numbers, and based on subjugatory roles and definitions? And those are the things we've got to start questioning, because it's not only the divine feminine, it's every minority group. And why do we even have minority groups? So these are the really things that we're healing through all of our soul's experiences, and it's all needed. That sort of showed me. Every thread in between is needed. Every person's experience is needed, because that soul's experience, as we showed you here. Because I was questioning, I said, well, you know, in my own personal experience, I get the ability where how I can infuse light and how I can create new systems, how I can create this and I create that. But why would I go through an experience in this experience right here as a child? And they said, because your experience of your soul story and how you radiated your truth affected this, this, and this. And their soul stories were changed as long as you're standing within your truth. And when you're following subjugation, when you're following conformity, you're not following in your truth, then that wheel of potentiation, that wheel of fortune, if you will, the wheel of change, doesn't occur, because this whole collective is walking around in the conformity of one another, of steeped progressions that don't go anywhere. There's steep progressions of limitation, steep progressions of limitation of self, of devaluing of self. And how does that serve evolution? It doesn't. So then the sacred convergence of 1987 occurred. And that's when these light programs began, and masters started becoming more forward in what we call light workers, because we were given the gifts and the skills to awaken those beyond what is seen in the reality, which has been just the reality we've created for eons. That's the physical reality from the spirit matter, and why that spirit matter is dense. That's why there's wars. That's why there's all of those experiences, because it's not a high vibrational experience. The spirited vibrational consciousness that is potential is light. And that light is one, that light is care, that light is honoring of thyself as all that is. Therefore, you would never want to harm it. And you feel that deep compassion as your heart chakra is open, your whole bodies are open, your chakras are all open. You feel the highest level of consciousness and compassion for what just occurred. And you don't want to see that again. And you do what you can to change it, to alter it, to help infuse light into these new systems. And then allowance of every person's path, regardless of what it might be have defined as, because the ego will want to define it and judge it. But that just continues that cycle. When you judge it, you're just continuing that cycle of limitation, because then it's choosing that separation. When you judge, you separate. So saying, where is the part that every person plays within whatever is coming forward, and release all judgment. Be one with it, because that opens the doorway to resolve. Focus on the resolve, focus on the intention, focus on the direction of the new and the new relationship, right? You're going out into the new, instead of cycling on what was. That's why some of those karmic steep patterns are so really steeped. And you end up just creating them with somebody different, because you haven't healed that wound of value. No, I'm going to value myself. I'm going to take absolute devotion to my own healing, because there's no way I'm going to create anything that's as painful as what I just came from. That's how you learn. Sometimes by the hardest, steepest rules, right? And the lessons that we come with, the rules of subjugation and limitation and separation, said you weren't great, you weren't perfect. You're just operating in those energies, and that's okay, because that's how you have to learn sometimes, through the hardest breakdowns. But at some point, you want to go back to center and say, okay, now how can I choose my perfect experience of me? Who am I? I want to have the best experience. I want to have the best version of life of me. I want to have the best ingredients of me. I want to have the best resolve, so that I can absolutely help create and help others. And that's why I went through the minutiae of what I did on every level in all realms, so that we've got lots here. We've got so much here to create with. Make no mistake about that. When God's involved, anything can happen. Anything can happen. That's the beauty of God. The ego mind cannot figure out God miracles. Just can't. And it won't. It shouldn't. God miracles are God miracles. You're here because of the miracle of spirit, constantly working on your bodies and your fields every night. Well, if you took conscious awareness of that, conscious intention, conscious sovereignty, conscious self-direction, you can heal anything in your body, anything in your reality. How do you choose to see it? Perceive the miracle of spirit in all things, in all people. That's when you're stepping out of the cycles and judgments, and you're saying, well, you're a child of God. How can you choose to create it now? Because it's not for any one person to tell anybody how to fix it. It's up for that person to go within and say, where do these wounds exist? I've got to heal this. I've got to transmute it. And then reach out for those that you need help from, to assist you and support you in that transmutation, because some of those wounds are very traumatic, and they do need a collective experience, collaborative experience. Right? And that's for each person to discern for themselves, and for them to take the courage and the honor and the ownership, so that they can, reach out and know that that's courageous. I personally didn't do it, and I should have. It probably would have made for a much much easier ride, but I'm also able to sense and feel things at a level that most just don't understand. So there would have been little help that others would have been able to provide me, because they just don't understand the depths and the widths and the richness that I'm able to sense and feel, and how come it's so damaging, the experiences that I experienced. And it's going to take me a long time to heal. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, wow, every day I feel better. Every day I'm picking myself up, and every day I'm going to present my craft, and every day I'm going to say, I'm here to help because my story will help. Because there's so many children, crystal children and empaths and rainbow children that have been affected by abuse, the abuse of power, abuse of corruption, abuse of what they see outside in our world as such violence and aggression, when they're wondering the same things I did. Why is everybody so mean to each other? Why does so many people just want to harm one another? They don't get it. And then they make video games about it. And so it works your understanding about, wow, who am I? Am I valued? If I'm being shown aggression, is that valuing me? And then we start to question. And what that showed me the other day, and I was working through this, because remember, your reality will show you your wounds and what you want to see and what you need to heal. And so I was standing in Starbucks the other day, and I was waiting for my coffee, and I saw this tiny little baby, standing in front of her dad, and she had been taught how to box and how to kick. And this baby was barely big enough to walk. And she was pretend fighting with her dad. And I thought it was really strange. I thought, why would a baby that small understand fighting and aggression? And it made me wonder. And then I was in the process of going through my own healing. It made me sad, because I was thinking, and of course, obviously the baby probably had many other experiences as well, but that was just the synchronicity that my inner wounding was showing me, that what I had seen as a child of just the aggression and the violence and people being so unkind to each other, and those, even that we say in our families, and those that in our close friendship circles, and just the harm that's created intentionally. And it made me heal that inner child that was so wounded as a child, to say, why was such harm created to people that you're meant to love and care for, and those in your school, they're friends, and yet there's bullying and unkindness at such great levels. Then you see it all over your TV, and then you see it in the programs, you see it on the news. All of it is just so harmful to the spirit, so harmful. And it just made me realize that synchronicity was a part of the inner wounding of me, to say, no, let's create some kindness and some goodness, and let's look at the flowers, and let's look at nature, and let's feel our oneness of the kindness and the goodness that God is in all things, Spirit is in all things, we are in all things. And so that's how you see your reality showing you. Where are the wounds? Are you perceiving your reality as kind and good? So then I realigned and said, wow, reality, I want to see my humanity as very gentle and sacred. I want to start creating a reality. I want to start creating a timeline where all are created in kindness and goodness, and all really care about one another's hearts, all really care about the one another challenges that we've all faced, and how to heal it, and how to be there in support of one another. How to release the ideas of judgment and segregation, and really go within and say, what is that showing me? How can I go within and I can accept that, and then seek that gentleness of our reality again? Because I want to accept it within myself. I want to give that compassion back to me, where I don't want to be conformed into aggression. I will not be conformed into violence. I will not be conformed into not caring about people. I will not be conformed. And that's what the black magic and all the black magic was doing. It was taking the gentleness of my spirit and trying to warp it by others' private agendas and others' controlling agendas, to change something that was beautiful and perfect and true, to change it into something that is not real. They're just illusions of who you are. But those experiential reflections are what we all face in transmuting the reality from something that's very aggressive and separative to really gentle and beautiful and pure. And they're all valid in between, because 7 billion people on our planet all have unique experiences and perspectives, and they're meant to. And it's up to each person to wake up and say, wow, do I want to be a part of a reality that's violent, where you're taking away the beauty and the essence of who you are as spirit, connected with all things, and going within and valuing and appreciating yourself, taking 15 minutes a day minimum to value yourself, return love to yourself, return guidance to yourself, so that you know within yourself, as Jesus said, nothing and no one can harm you. Your consciousness fully belongs to you, and you are working with your consciousness. The strength of your consciousness is your daily inner work. And then nothing from an outside experience, whether it be a conformed social program of control, you're understanding and seeing it for what it is. You're in the world and not of it. And you're rising above it, and you're creating systems to heal. And therefore, whole new realities are being created. And we're just stepping away from the stuff that doesn't feel good anymore. Because you get it. You get the whole evolutionary program. You become your own master. You become your own grace. You become your own wisdom maker. You become your own alchemist. Because you understand the woundings of where everybody's come from and the behaviors and why they come from. And you get it, and you release judgment and say, I get what that's showing me. I go within and I'm now going to heal. I'm going to seek the goodness. I'm going to seek the kindness. I'm going to seek the gentleness because that feels really good. Then you redirect and you intend anew. And it's really, really profound. And that's where you create, wow, I'm a great blessing on this planet because my new creation of blessings and gentleness just transmuted anything that was aggressive. And so never give up. Never give up, never give up, never give up. And we are going to do a beautiful oracle card. We're going to do an animal card and an oracle card. So we're so happy that you've joined us today. Anybody that would like to donate, we'd love your donations to help us move about our path of ascension and my depths and richness that I want to explore. Creating the beautiful illustrations and my website, working on that and having the monthly fees to pay that. And I honor all of you that are coming to us for coaching and healing sessions and our every Thursday night group and our Saturday groups, the global webinars that we present. We're so grateful. We love you so much. And we honor you. Thank you. We're just going to ground. Thank you. We're coming into our beautiful alignment. Thank you, Spirit, of our oracle card today. What message does the collective need to hear? What message does the collective need to hear? Thank you, Spirit. That one wants to come out. Oh, she feels she knows. And that's what we were talking about as far as the experiences for me when I was in the coffee shop. What was I feeling in that moment? And I was just reflecting on sadness, the sadness that I experienced and why people were so aggressive and not kind to one another, even though you offered such kindness and light. And there just seemed to be nothing but unkindness come at you. No matter how many times you offer kindness and light and offers of genuineness and offers of integrity, there's those expressions. Because deep down within me, I knew when those moments of being ostracized were trying to, the intentions were that I didn't fit in and I wasn't conforming. And so that made me feel, well, I must not be who I am. That's when you go through that self-destruction of the inner self, the inner spirit. And that's the inner spirit now being rebuilt. Because anything that is trying to conform to you, say that you're not being normal and you're not part of the grid and you're not part of this, not part of that program, then that's what you really want. When you're not a part of conformity, you know you're doing a good job. You know that you're back rebuilding who you are as spirit. And you're starting to heal those wounds of not belonging, less than, lacking, because that's all that program feeds is lack. Put your energy outside of you and it's just an infinite cycle that will never be fulfilled. Fulfillment is when you go within. Fulfillment is when you really wake up and say, wow, Spirit, what are you showing me? I want to fill myself up. No, I'm really profound. I know what I feel. I know absolutely what I feel. My truth is my truth. Because that's all you have to align with is your truth. And Spirit will keep pressing your truth out. And now we're going to go to a beautiful animal card. Thank you, Spirit. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. So they're saying that the benevolence, I love you, thank you. Touching, thank you, Spirit. The benevolence of who you are is infinite. Thank you, Spirit, because you are connected with the benevolence of all others and the benevolence of the intention for the human creator and all that is Gaia working in her benevolence. Okay, so they're showing me a thread of an intention. So my intention is to work forward in the benevolence of creating gentle programs. The benevolence of that is already within the omnipresence, or it's been within God's program. So you're working with the catalyst of those energies. And so that's why it's really important to step out of those systems of routine and conformity, because the moment that you do, you'll find this whole new world that's awakening and also feeding you those energies of benevolence. And so, wow, these are two of my energies. These are my two animal energies. So the dragonfly is the symbol of, I thank you, as our cosmic representation of who we are at the higher energies of the unseen, the subtle realms. That's what the dragonfly means to me. And they're very subtle and they flit in and out. And they hover and they levitate. They have a very short lifespan, but they're constantly in and out of the frequencies that nature and the elementals offer. And so it's about us connecting with the celestial, galactic, and the subtle realms of our energy of who we are, and understand that everything before you is a reason to go within and say, let's heal this wound, let's give love to me, let's give compassion to me, let's return to my oneness. Anything that comes before you, I return to my oneness. I'm creating that beautiful expression of who I am because I love who I am. I want to be a part of the resolution. I want to be a part of the resolve. I want to be a part of gentleness. So set those intentions and keep feeding affirmations. So you're directing those 5D intentions to your beauty. And that is what the peacock is. The peacock is then being, yeah, I'm really vibrant and I'm proud of who I am. I'm going to start feeding those parts of me that were ostracized, that were damaged by the right use of free will not being taken, by the right use of free will being objectified by the right use of free will, being manipulated and hindered in every way. And now you get to stand proud because you get to understand that all of those stories are a part of the collective. And once you heal those stories, they can no longer harm you and affect you. And you're stepping outside of what you have understood to be conformity stories. When you're healing all conformity stories, you're stepping outside of it. And then you don't have to play those. You don't have to play those games and be a part of those threadings. And so it's just a matter of choosing where you invest your time and being proud of you. When you acknowledge that this doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good, trust how you feel. If you feel those red flags, if you feel that something doesn't feel integrous, if you feel that something doesn't feel light and honoring of you or nourishing of you, then trust it and set the intention for new. Because you're the one that creates the freedom and liberation of it, right? To have anything change its form and its energy, it has to go through the process of alchemy, through acknowledgement, through acceptance, getting to the core. And as I said, those ostracization experiences have been with me since I was little, and from obviously many other, because I'm also here healing it for the collective, the children, because their beauty of their creativity is far beyond what we've given them credit for, and we're just not offering them any voice, because again, we've held them in the less than and devalued experience, but they're certainly not. Why would they be? Any aspect of God's creation, no matter how small. And I was expressing on my Facebook this morning, just this little final one, the beautiful stories of the small aspects of life and being in devotion to the small, because the small is the inner child reflection and the symbologies of the inner child asking for your acknowledgement. And the many times that I'd found many small animals wounded, and I would provide Reiki and I would provide a little safe space for them, and then miraculously I would go back to check on them and they would be gone. And so many experiences like that are a part of your gifting to humanity and a gifting to the new consciousness that says, I'm going to be a part of the gentleness on this planet. I'm going to offer gentle words, and I'm going to offer gentle resolve. I'm going to do my best to wake up and know that I'm offering this to spirit and source and our creatorhood. I'm offering it to the planet. Every morning I'm going to try and release all judgment, and I will put absolute commitment into creating kindness and gentleness and love to myself, because I know that I'm a beautiful, gifted person to help awaken those with the vibration of love and joy of who we are, spirit of all things, spirit of all things, spirit of all things within and without. And we get to entangle with it, and it gets to affect us in so many beautiful ways. You get to visually see yourself and your reality change. That's why we're here, is to experience the miraculousness of who we are and transcend the stories by understanding them. They're all valid, they're all beautiful, they're all the inner workings of our dynamic complexity. I mean, we're profound. We're really profound. And it takes a lot of courage to have those soul experiences and expressions. I mean, oh my gosh, the most powerful people are the ones that go through the most traumatic experiences. And so we're here to understand it at a multidimensional level and start honoring it with gentleness. And then start really sending out the gentleness of our creation. And so that children really feel that there is a gentle side of humanity. There is a kind and caring side of humanity. And we're going to be a part of the resolve. We're going to be a part of bringing heaven to earth and anchoring it through us by the understanding that we are heaven. And now we're going to start behaving like it and honoring it. And I honor all of you. Thank you, dear ones. We love you so much. Our links are below, and we hope that this has helped you understand the healing of trauma, the healing of those soul fragments, when you're calling them in from other timelines, when you're calling in those psyche experiences, the cycle of your daily self-care, what those daily self-cares can incorporate, whether it's a trauma, whether it's an expression of celebration and honoring, which should be included in every day. Take every moment that you can to celebrate how far you've come, to celebrate that you are a blessing on this planet. Thank you, Holy Mother, constantly telling me I'm a blessing on this planet, and so too are you. And then you get to understand, wow, the complexity of what you really exist with, and you just keep reaching out and evolving into a new version of you. Your guidance belongs within. The spirit of who you are is in all things. You can feel and project your consciousness and just feel the love of who you are, and understand the abilities to fully own the power of your sovereignty, so that you're not going through these cycles and stories of being harmed and being manipulated or controlled. Because everyone on our planet for the next 3 to 6 months will face various stories of subjugation at various levels. And so sometimes those levels of subjugation are quite intense, because it's what they're here to transcend, because they can. And because if they've been a part of creating it, they can transcend it. That's just the equal opportunity. So always know you're balanced, right? Release the stories of victimhood, because you absolutely know that you can heal it. And just reach out for the support that you need, because we've all been a part of it, all timelines. We've all been a part of what we've created on earth. Now we're a part of healing it and being resolving with it with gentleness and kindness and compassion. And we love you, dear ones. We hope you've had a great time with us in exploring who you are as a multidimensional being of spirit. You are spirit creating matter. Your body is matter. You are spirit. Your body would not be able to be there without spirit. So just honor it and explore it and soak within yourself as spirit. We love you so much. Bye, dear lighted ones. Bye.